Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my buddy David Ceruolo with us. David is an attorney. Good morning, David. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So today I asked you to come on the show. I want to talk a little bit about estate planning and mostly about your residence because we all value our home, and whether our children or someone else wants it or not, we want to be able to protect it so we can pass it on to the next generation. How does that all factor in when you talk about estate planning?
Well, so a lot of times the folks come in the door, the largest asset that they have is their real estate, right? And so it depends on, I guess, where they are with the phase of life, right? They could be a young couple that comes in, and at that point, what I'm talking to them about is, their younger kids, minors, right? And how to address assets being left to the minors. Usually, they do that with what we call a testamentary trust inside their will that handles assets. And or they could be baby boomers that are looking to take care of mom and dad, or looking to do an estate plan for themselves. And when it comes to that, it just depends on what the concerns are. Usually we'll handle a lot of their concerns with trusts. Sometimes we'll handle it with just the simple estate planning documents for the time being, and then they'll come back later on. And if it's for mom and mom and dad are up there in age, then we'll start talking about, Medicaid planning and irrevocable trusts, which is a different type of a plan.
So you have people like my age. I'm going to be 59 in a couple of weeks. You start thinking about I know, again, old man. You start thinking about, how to protect assets. God forbid what happens if myself or my wife gets sick and we require care. So how do you guide people through that type of transition?
Well, for you, what I would say, you're 59, but you're still young in comparison to the clients, a lot of the clients that I see. You could certainly make plans now for at least having your simple estate plan in place, which would be your will, your healthcare proxy, and your power of attorney. Those basic documents would be your starting point. With the will, it's of course when you pass away. And the other two documents are agencies. One's a healthcare proxy. It's if you get sick, you can't make your decisions medically. And then the other one is a power of attorney that will handle your assets. Basically the idea once again is if you're not able to handle your financial affairs, you'll have an agent, your wife, that will step into your shoes and do what you can with your money. Without those documents, those basic documents in place, well, the agencies anyway, if you get sick and you're still with us, you know, your family will have to go to probate in order to get a guardianship and a conservatorship over you. So that avoids a lot of that. So that'll be the first step for you. And then it just depends on what you're concerned about. If you're concerned about, nursing home care down the line, then we would talk about what moves you could start to make. I wouldn't recommend doing it right away because it's an irrevocable trust. And I don't think you need that right now. So if it ain't broke, I usually don't try to fix it until we're ready to fix it.
But David, you mentioned healthcare proxies, power of attorneys. You should do those as soon as you can, right? I mean,
Yeah, everybody should have those
really,
documents in place.
some poor
Absolutely.
30-year-old guy, something happens to him, and then they got to go through the probate you mentioned. But I find that we all think we're Superman, Batwoman, whatever we want to think we are. It's not going to happen to me. That's super naive. And I look at it, I get wicked emotional about this topic. Because I think it's unfair to your loved ones not to be an adult about it. All right, something just happened to dad, and now we have to go to probate because he didn't want to take the time to set it up properly, so he didn't have to do this. To me, it's just showing you care. Yeah.
Yeah, that you could look at it that way as well too. And I can't even tell you times when children come in with their parents, they're in their 70s and their 80s, and none of this stuff is done. And they're like, yeah, we should have pushed them to come in sooner.
Yes.
And so then they're left with trying to deal with it now. And there's some probate work involved, or it's kind of too late to doing this, a mass health, a Medicaid plan. So yeah, you start thinking about it. Everybody should have those documents, those basic documents in place, and then you build upon that as you go along, just depending on what your concerns are.
So what's the best way for people to reach out to you, David, if they want to have questions about estate planning?
Well, usually email, it's david@cerulolaw.com. I have the website, certainly visit the website. The office number is 781-662-9200. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, couple of other Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. So you can get in touch with me pretty much in any one of those platforms as well.
Awesome. David, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.